Hi, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and I'm in the mood to do something in my art journal book, and I thought I'd try something a little different. I have these pictures that I took recently on my trip to London, and I printed them all out as almost ATC card size. And I have these ones of ship. This was down in Greenwich, and I thought I'd do something with a nautical theme. So I went through my stash of things and found anything that I think might work for this. So I had these two little wooden pieces of anchors. I may use one, I may use two. I'm thinking of giving this whole thing a vintage look, and so I might actually mount these. I might distress these pictures a little bit and put these corners on them to give them that old album look. I found some journaling cards that came from a set of Graphic 45. I think this was the set called By the Sea. And I'm thinking these might make interesting sort of backgrounds or something I can use with the pictures. Don't know yet. Recently I just picked this up by Tim Holtz. This is the photo booth collection of, these little strips of pictures of what he would call as found people or found relatives, something like that. And I found a couple in there that are of sailors. Try to get them apart here. One in color, one sort of black and white. And I thought those might work as elements. I found this little piece that says Born to Travel. This is actually a big sticker. It's a map of Europe kind of a thing. I might use that in the background. I also found this Fab Scraps piece that says Exciting Adventures. Got an airplane on it, but I might cut out the exciting, just use the adventure part. And along with words, I went through my stash and I just found, again from Tim Holtz collection, these little words here that I don't think I'll use them all, but I'll see how this progresses and I'll pick from this pile. I also found this little sticker sheet, and the one thing here, it has an anchor and it's got a couple of those, what you see on maps now on Google Maps, those little location indicators, and there's some little arrows and things, and the word wander. So I might use some of those. And I thought I'd use those for the pictures, and I've got these stencils out. Now these are Mike Deacon stencils. This one is of a sea. It's hard to see. It's a sort of an octopus kind of a thing, or squid or something. And then, of course, this one for bubbles, because we're talking about water, so I thought that might work as well. And colors that I'm picking for the backgrounds is I went to my Distress Oxide inks, and I've got Salty Ocean and I've got Peacock Feathers, and I'm using these colors because they kind of pick up colors in these little cards and in my pictures as well that are now buried in this pile. And also because Distress Oxide inks, when you splash water on them, make those little watermarks and things, and I thought that might be kind of interesting as well. So these are the things I have set up already for this. My journal that I'm using this time, I am using, let me move these things out of the way, I'm using the Dina Reevely mixed media journal. This is the one that has different types of papers in it, and I'm going to work on the burlap. Now I had already gessoed this some time ago. I gessoed both sides of it, so it's pretty stiff now. I'm not sure if I should have gessoed it or not. I've seen other people use it without gesso, but I've already have it gessoed, and so I'm going to use that. And again, it's got these rough edges, fibers coming out of it. Just give it all that nostalgic, vintage, grungy kind of look. I'm only going to do a single page today because I have a single page over here. So rather than a double page spread, plus this is not a double page on the burlap, not that it has to be, but I'm just going to do a single one and see what happens from this. Now, during this video, I will probably speed it up in various sections, like we don't want to sit around and watch paint dry. And I was debating whether just to do this all with a musical background and no commentary from me, but I think I will have the commentary as well, so you can basically hear the processes that I'm going through as I create this page. So right now, you've seen the things I'm going to use. That's the only plan that I have, and we're just going to get on with it. Okay, let's get started and let's add some color to this background. Now, I've pulled up two colors, as I mentioned before, because they go with some of the elements. I've got Salty Ocean and Peacock Feathers in Distress Oxide ink. Now, this being a burlap, and I've already gessoed it, I'm not sure how these are going to take to this. So I think I'll use the lighter of the two colors first, the Peacock Feathers, and I've got my applicator here. And I'm just going to go around. This is probably going to wreak havoc on the sponge. Yeah, it's kind of rough, but okay. Oops, wrong side, I guess. What happened here? No, I think I pulled off the Velcro on the sponge, and I did. Okay, so I'll grab another sponge. I've got a ton of these. Now let's just see if this happens as well. I guess I can't really, because it is so rough, I'm just going to sort of pat the color on. I'm not going to worry too much about getting a really dark base on this, because there's going to be other layers, so it won't really matter. Okay, now I think I'll switch over to the Salty Ocean. Actually, they're pretty colors. Now, I'm not sure how this would have worked if I hadn't gessoed the burlap. But I'm getting nice texture out of this, so that's good. Now, I was going to hit this with some water to see if it'll oxide up, or oxidize, I mean. But I'm wondering if instead of doing that, I should, got these stencils. I'm wondering about color, if I should go a little deeper. So maybe if I grab, let's see. I'm going to try a little darker blue. I have Faded Jeans. So let's get this nice and juicy. And I'm, because this has a lot of little pieces on it, I'm just sort of tapping the color on. Doesn't need to be real dark, but I do want to see some of the image coming through. Well, I got a little bit. Adds texture. Okay, let's do a little bit over here too. A lot of this is going to get covered up anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the parts that peek through will just add some interest, I think. I love these stencils of Mike Deakins. And I don't think I've really used this one much before. I'm trying to think if I've used this on a page or not. I don't think I have. Okay, so you're getting, it gives you texture. And let's get out the bubbles. Let's do the bubbles down the middle. That pad's had it too. Peeled that right off. Interesting how that's happening with these. Okay, need a new one. I guess it's because of the texture is so rough that it's pulling on the foam, and it's just making it separate from the Velcro base. Again, it's subtle, but I know it's there. Okay, and I think I need a little bit just up here. Sorry, I'm out of shot. Just realized that. Oops, moved my stencil. Well, it's not a big deal. Maybe just a little bit. And maybe a little over here. And off again, sliding off the screen. Okay, so I have those. Now, get out my water bottle, and I'm just going to don't know if this will do much. Okay, well, I got these little whiter spots. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with the water, though. So, I think what I will do next is I'm just going to heat that with the heat gun. Clean up a little bit here. And then I'll come back with what I'm going to do next. So I hit the heat gun with this, and I discovered something. There was some bleeding through the burlap. I should have thought of that. The gesso didn't fill in all the holes on there, and so I got some on the page there. So since this is a little porous, I'm just going to put this in here for now to protect the page in case I put some more wet things on it. And so next I want to build this background up a little bit. I've got the colors on. I've got this map, but I think what I might do, now this is sticky on the back, but I'm going to stick it down with matte medium. So I'm just going to remove some of the sticky you can't see it, but I'm taking the sticky and I'm putting it against my apron just to remove some of the sticky so I can handle it. And I think I'm going to rip it. So one half might go up here, one half might go down here. Yeah, but I think I want to age it. So I'm going to get out now I'm using StazOn for this because the oxide inks react to water, and I'm not putting anything over on top of them to protect that from that. But this is also a shiny kind of paper, so I want the ink to be permanent on it. So StazOn is a solvent ink, and that will solve that problem. It should. So this just gives us a little bit of an aged look. And I'm going to adhere that with matte medium. I put my matte medium in a little squeezy bottle. Makes it a little easier to work with. Yeah, if I can get the top off. There we go. Okay. Little technical difficulty back here. All right, here we go. Now I need to... Okay. I thought it was a good idea to put in a squeezy bottle. My squeezy bottle seems to be plugging up, so there we go. Turn that off. Let's see if this comes out a little better. It's a little better. Maybe used a little too much. I'll leave it a room for a border. And I'm hoping this is going to stick. I'm wondering... I'll make no bones about it. Using burlap as a background on a page I find somewhat challenging. Whoa. Maybe I should have just used a strong glue for this instead of the matte medium, because I am having some problems getting this to stick down. Especially this piece. I guess because the burlap is kind of absorbing my medium, even though I've put gesso on it, it still seems to... Whose idea was this to make an album with burlap in it? Oh, yeah, this is starting to give me a pain in the rear end here. I may have to resort to a glue. Let's see, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun and see if that makes a difference, and if not, I will have to use a glue on it. I will be back. Okay, the matte medium did not work. It went right through to this side and came... I'm glad I had this laid down here to protect my page. It's just too porous for the matte medium. So I'm getting out this glue. This is the glue that Mike Deacon talks about, and when I was in London, I found a place that sold this glue because you can't get it over here. It's a spirit glue, and he uses it a lot for sticking things down. The sides of my bottle are a little sticky because I had it in my suitcase on the way home, luckily wrapped in a plastic bag, and it kind of oozed out a little bit. And that was a lot of fun when I stuck my hand down inside the bag. So he swears by this glue, so this is what I'm going to use to stick these down. And I'm going to be very generous with this glue. So we'll see how this works. Just wiggle it around a little bit to get glue on the edges. Yeah, I can feel it gripping already. And it is coming, see, look, it's coming through. So I'm going to have to clean that up because I don't want it to dry like that. But I think this glue is going to work. I'm not sure how long it takes this glue to dry or to set up. I don't think it takes long though. Yeah, I think that's going to work. No problems. Okay, I am going to clean up underneath because this will be a sticky mess if I don't. By the way, what I'm using is actually a reusable paper towel. I bought these at a place called Lee Valley. They're made out of bamboo, and supposedly you can throw them in your washing machine and wash them and then let them air dry, and it says you can wash them up to about 20 times, and you get a roll of 20 of them for about $8. So I'm giving them a try to see how these work out. I'm trying to use less and less products that I throw away, you know, like baby wipes and things like that, just to save on, you know, the ecology of things. Oh, well, yeah, great. That one just fell off. This is a bit of a bitch, okay? This burlap crap. So, right at the moment, I'm not impressed. And I'm knocking things all over the place as I try to get my heat gun out. Okay, so this is going to take me a minute or two, so I'll come back after I get this dry. Okay, so I hit that with the heat dryer and they seem to be sticking now, I think, okay, except they're still bleeding through under here a little bit, so I'm just watching that and pulling that up every now and then so it doesn't permanently dry to that. And now I've got out my pictures and I've got out these background cards, and I've torn the background cards a little bit. They're sort of, I'm going to use them sort of as a map, sort of as an element to the background. And on each one of these, I'm going to put these little gold corners on it. Now, these are those cheap things I think that came from the dollar store. They're sticky on the back, but of course that's not going to stick to this page. I'll have to use the glue with that. But they won't stick to the corners either. I could use a little dollop of glue, but instead I've decided to use my little Tim Holtz tiny attacher, and I'm just putting a little bit of a staple right there in each corner to hold it on, which I think kind of adds to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish putting these corners on. I'll just show you one, how I do that. So I just pick it up. You see they're sticky. It's sticking to my fingers. Get it lined up on the corner. This one is not lining up on the corner. You know, a lot of problems with this one today. Okay, that one I had peeled apart a moment ago and tried to stick back together. So maybe that's my problem here. So let's go here. Now that one fits better. And so you just take the tiny attacher and go right in here. And there we go. And if they're a little crooked, that's going to add to the vintage look, I guess. So I'm going to put corners on all of these pictures, and I'm going to come back and start gluing down these background cards. Okay, so now I'm going to take my StazOn brown ink, technically called Timber Brown, and I'm going to go around these pieces, again, just to give them a little age. Okay, and I'm thinking, this is StazOn, this is shiny. StazOn will go on shiny, and I'm just going to try around the edges of my picture too, just to make these little gold things look more like metal that has been tarnished over time. So they're just not quite that shiny anymore. Now I'm toying with the idea of actually taking a distress tool and scratching into the pictures to make them a little bit older looking, and to also give them sort of a vintage look when I put this over top of it. I'm not sure how this will work, but let's see, what do I have for scratching in things? That's a good question. I'm not really sure what I should use. I'll be back. Okay, so I used the spirit glue to glue down these background cards and the pictures as well, and I'm hoping that's all going to stick, and it's probably coming, yeah it is, it's coming out on the other side of this. So I think I may put a piece of wax paper down on that to prevent it from sticking to my plastic sheet, because these sheets are the sheets I use when I adjust my pages to protect them. So I've got this on here, and so next thing I want to look at are some of my other elements. I have these sailor pictures, which might look kind of interesting, kind of off to the side. Have this Born to Travel kind of thing. Maybe up there. Now I have these anchors, and I do want to use the anchors. Maybe one at the bottom. Maybe just use one. And then I have these. Take the scenic route. Adventure awaits. Enjoy the journey. Maybe do them in a little cluster, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle or a crossword, that kind of thing. Wander. Seek. I kind of like that. Now I did have this big one, but I don't think I'm going to use it. No, I don't think I'm going to use it. And then I have these little things here, which I may just put around the pictures after I've got this all glued down. Now, I got to think about what I'm going to do with this anchor. I think I'll give it a rust effect. I've got those rust paints that I've used before to give it a little bit patina, and I think I'll go around all of the words and this little piece up here with the StazOn ink as well. So let's just see how that looks. I'll just do a couple of pieces to start with. Sorry if I was going out of the shot. I get so involved with what I'm doing that I don't check the computer monitor to see whether you can see what I'm doing. Well, that happens. Okay, so I need to work on the anchor. So what I think I will do is, just putting this away, I think what I'll do is I'll paint that first so it has some time to dry. Then I'll glue down these other elements, and then I'll glue this back on, and then we'll look at possibly doing something around the border of this page and adding some other of the little elements that I have. Okay, so I've got my little anchor piece right here that's made out of wood, and I'm pulling out my Rust Effect pastes by Finnabair, however you say it. So it's the Rust Effect pastes. And they're in 3 colors. So I think I'll start with the yellow. And you just build layers. And this dries fairly quickly. And I'm just sort of dry brushing it on. I'm not too worried about the coverage because I'm going to be adding more layers on top of this. So there's one. Should have probably cleaned off my brush, but I didn't. This stuff actually has a grit in it. It makes it feel like rust as well. I'm not going to worry too much about the edges because I think I'll go around the edges with the StazOn Timber Brown ink when I get this part done. So I'm just grunging it up a little bit. I think I need a little bit more of the terracotta. And you know, I think I'm going to grab my other set. This is the Patina Effect, and there is a bluey shade in here. And I'm just to pick up some of the colors that I used in the background. Well, may not be a good idea. This isn't really going in the way that I imagined it. Blend that patina blue in a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to get out my StazOn and just see here. Okay. Maybe hit that with the heat gun. Don't know if I'm happy with that. I wonder. I've got some other stuff here. How about a little brass? This is a waxy rub. It's got a little shine to it. Gives it a little bit more of a metallic effect. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. Yeah, I like that a little better with that on there, but I still think I need to outline it or give it a little bit more depth. So I'm going to use some more of this. Kind of gives it a bit of a shadow effect. And dulls down that rub a little bit too. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. Okay, so I'm going to heat that with the heat gun and clean this up a little bit, and I'll bring back the journal. Okay, I think I'm ready to glue down these elements, and I'm going to stick with the spirit glue for this. And then I'm going to maybe go around the edges of the page itself with some more of the StazOn Timber Brown. And then we'll take a look at it and decide whether we need to add anything more to this page. And this glue does dry clear. If a little bit seeps out from underneath, you can just take a brush, small brush, and just wipe that up. But it will dry clear. Now I'm wondering, maybe I should pop these pictures up. Well, I can't pop that one up. But maybe I should pop that up. But I don't want to get too much height. I think I'll pop that one up. So let's see. Let's get some dimensional squares out. Got some big ones here. Oh, here's some big ones. And get out my little paper piercer here because I don't have any nails, and this helps to get these little backing pieces off, I find. And I always like to give them a little shot of glue as well, because the adhesive on these are not always that good. Hold that down for a couple of seconds, make it take hold. Maybe just stick that under, I like my elements to touch each other where I can. It kind of unifies them, I think. Now I'm not going to pop this guy up because I've got that anchor going across on the top of it, but I might pop up the anchor. I'm going to make sure there's enough room for my anchor. So if the anchor goes there, and put that one just, don't want too close to the binding. So I think I will pop up the anchor. Get some more dimensional squares here. Putting on quite a few because this piece is fairly heavy. And where's my little pokey tool? Nope, let's see, I got a little glue on top of this sailor here, but this glue, you just take your finger and you can roll it off. And one more. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add a little bit of glue on top of these squares. Oops, I said a little glue. A little string off that glue. Okay. Gives you a little bit of wiggle time too, this glue. So you can get things positioned exactly where you want them. Okay. Now, I talked about the border around here. How are things doing under here? Ooh, I'm still sticking. Yep. That glue goes right through that burlap. Even though there's gesso on it, it goes right through. I am liking this, but I think we need a little bit something else. So I have this little silver anchor here. Actually, anchor within an anchor. How about that? Right there. And I have these little things that indicate, you know, details on a map. Just think they add a little bit of bling. And this says set sail. And this one says wander. And then I have some of these little, I got a couple of stars. Maybe, let's do this. Here's a little silver one. Just add a little bit of visual interest. That one I got on a little crooked. Shoot. I wonder how well these things are sticking. I'll put a little glue on that. Maybe just use some of good old Dry's clear glue, if I can get some out of the bottle. Or these. They seem to be sticking okay. Just this one. Okay. A little dab will do ya. Oops. Should have used tweezers. But I'm not much good with tweezers either. Okay. Does it need anything else? I think I'm going to call it quits with the exception of the border. Let's get this up here. Okay. Let's get it. Stays on again. Just turn this a little bit and now I have to say that now that I've got this together, the burlap is kind of a nice touch. But as you can see, there are some issues when it comes to gluing things down to the burlap. But we've got around that. So let's just put our cap on our glues here so we don't dry out. I'm knocking things all over the place. Okay, so there we have it. Now this is going to have to sit for a bit to dry, but I think that's got it. I think that's actually turned out pretty good. What do you think? Okay, you can let me know in the comments below. Okay, so my Ships Ahoy themed page from the pictures that I had from London seemed to work out pretty nice with this. Yeah, okay, great. Hope you enjoyed this video, and there'll be more later on. Bye-bye.